Hey everybody, today I am actually in Indianapolis, but if you were to go into this neighborhood, you might not think you're in Indianapolis. You might actually think you're in Brownsburg, Indiana, over on the northwest side. So we're going to talk about just this area a little bit and some of the confusion that can sometimes happen here, and actually it's a little confusion that can happen around Indianapolis in other areas too, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If you want to know everything there is to know about living in Indianapolis or a place like Brownsburg, Indiana on the northwest side, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also tap the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now we have people reaching out to us from all over the country with questions about Brownsburg, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, all the cities and towns that surround Indianapolis as well. So if you have questions about any of those places at all, then make sure you reach out any ways you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back when it comes time for you to make your move to the Indy Metro. All right, again, today I am in Indianapolis, and I'm in not a brand new neighborhood, but a pretty new one. So all of these homes around me are exceptionally new, so we're talking about being completed inside the last couple of years or so. And then of course behind me, you can see kind of the greenish exteriors. Actually all of those are homes that are currently being built. And this entire area looks it's kind of raw looking right now, very new, not exceptionally mature, and that's because the whole area is very, very new. So where I am, if you were to get the address of these homes, they would say Indianapolis, Indiana. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because just over the tree line to the west of where I'm standing, and it's hard for you to see with me in here, those homes are not necessarily old, but they're a little bit older than these, but that's Brownsburg, Indiana. And this little pocket, this little stretch of Indianapolis is actually in Brownsburg School District. So if you go just to the east of where I'm standing as well, or walking here in this neighborhood, you'll actually see Eagle Creek. Actually, it's Eagle Creek Golf Course. RACEWAY Road, it runs north and south right next to Eagle Creek Golf Course. I'm very, very close to that. And then you get to Eagle Creek Golf Course, which is a 36-hole golf course that's part of Eagle Creek. And Eagle Creek is definitely an Indianapolis address, and it's an awesome, awesome park. Huge municipal park. It's one of the biggest municipal parks in the entire country. Giant reservoir in there, and it's actually a cool reservoir. There are several reservoirs around Indianapolis, like Geist, Morse, two big ones for sure. But Eagle Creek is a little more unique because it's, first of all, inside a municipal park, so you have to pay to get in there, or you have to have a yearly pass to get in there. I'm actually going to cross the street since people are walking down the sidewalk here. Seen several people out this morning. It's a super nice morning. A little bit cool, but still pretty comfortable, and a little bit breezy. So you have to pay to get in there, being a municipal park, but there are plenty of hiking trails. There are roads that you can ride your bike on, you can run on. Actually, back a long time ago, I used to do triathlons and ride and run a ton. We would do some training rides there in Eagle Creek, and there are actually some races in there too, some triathlons. So they have the beach, you do your swim in there, you do the bike, some within the park, and it goes out of the park a little bit, comes back in, and the entire run's inside the park. Really awesome place. And then the thing about that reservoir is that if you get north of 56th Street, it's kind of like a nature preserve. So you can't ski in there, you can't jet ski or anything like that. In Eagle Creek, it's really quiet. It's actually a big place for rowers and college teams that have rowing teams here in the area. They have competitions there. There are actually national competitions there. So you will see some rowing teams out there from time to time, but plenty of sailboats, canoes, kayaks, things like that. And there are no houses anywhere. So it is like a nature preserve. If you go to Morse or Geist, they're beautiful too, but there are houses all around them. Now, if you get further south in Eagle Creek, you can get some houses along the reservoir, but essentially north of 56th Street, it's just like a nature preserve. It's really pretty awesome. But Eagle Creek right here next to this little strip in Brownsburg schools, this is where it can get a little bit confusing. So if you're a person that thinks, well, I need to live on the west side of Indianapolis because of my commute, wherever it is I'm going to go, or you work on the northwest side, or you just want to live in a town like Brownsburg, Indiana. Now, Brownsburg, Indiana is a fantastic place to live. I think it gets overshadowed a lot by some of the other towns and cities that surround Indianapolis, like a Zionsville, which is really pretty nearby, just to the northeast of here, or you get to Carmel, Fishers, Indiana. Those have been highly ranked places to live in the country, and so of course they get a lot of attention. But you can't ignore a place like Brownsburg. Brownsburg is fantastic. The school district is extremely highly rated, and I also love the way the schools are laid out in Brownsburg. The high school is very central, so wherever you live in Brownsburg, you're going to be relatively close to it, and then of course you're always going to be close to an elementary school that you go to, you're in the district of. So Brownsburg is a popular place, and it really should be. Only about 30,000, just under 30,000 people in Brownsburg, and it has everything that you would ever need on a daily basis. It also has highway access, interstate access, getting right back to Indianapolis very easily, and also US 136, which helps as well getting back in Indianapolis. So you're not cut off at all. It's a fantastic place connected right to it. So if you're looking in a place like Brownsburg and you think, I want to be in Brownsburg schools, you can't search for a home just in Brownsburg, because you could miss a neighborhood like this. Now, of course, this is a brand new neighborhood and you can build new in here, but there's some homes in the vicinity that have been around a little while. They've been around for 10 years, 20 years, some a little bit longer than that, still with that Indianapolis address, but in the Brownsburg School Corporation. So if you were to look in Brownsburg schools, rather than just Brownsburg, it's going to bring in some of those neighborhoods over here with an Indianapolis address. And actually, as far as the location's concerned, it's even tighter and closer to Indianapolis. And so if you needed to be in Indianapolis, let's say on a daily basis, like I said, for your commute, then you could be missing out on a lot of neighborhoods like this, which would be a pretty big bummer to miss out on what could be potentially a great house in the school corporation that you want to be in. Now, this isn't the only place where this happens. If you go along the south side, if you get into GREENWOOD in Indianapolis, you can get kind of a fuzzy little border there between the two cities, and especially when you're talking about different school corporations. You can be in a township school, just like over here. This area of Indianapolis would be the Pike Township School Corporation. So in a lot of the borders, when you're surrounding Indianapolis, you get into different townships. Now, Indianapolis is made up of a lot of different townships, but you get into the metropolitan township schools as you go around Indianapolis. So on the northwest side, you've got Pike Township. If you get just kind of strictly on the north side, you get into Washington Township, and it just goes all the way around, like to the east side, you get into Lawrence Township. The south side, you can have Perry Township, lots of different townships. But as they get to the border of Indianapolis, which is really kind of the border of Marion County, and that's why this area here can be so confusing. You can be in Hendricks County when you're in Brownsburg, and then Indianapolis is Marion County. And so when you're kind of getting along that line, that county line, that's where you can still have the same address as the city that you're in, like Indianapolis or Brownsburg, but you might be crisscrossing the county a little bit, and that can have an effect on what school corporation that particular home is located in. So that can happen on the south side, that can happen on the east side when you get over to Lawrence Township, but it absolutely happens on the north side too. You could, for example, be in an Indianapolis address, but it be in Carmel schools, and that can happen even north of that. So let's say you get to the north side of Carmel, you could have a Carmel address, but be in Westfield schools. So anytime you're along the border of two different cities, or a city and a town, and you're looking for particular school corporations, or at least want to be in them and know what your options are, it's something that you have to make sure that you're paying attention to. So this one is absolutely that way, and the area where that happens is not small. I'm kind of at the northern border of that, but it extends further to the south of where I am, where you can have Indianapolis address after Indianapolis address, but still connected to Brownsburg, until you get far enough south to where you really wouldn't be associated with Brownsburg anymore, and you're starting now to get into Avon, Indiana, just to the south of Brownsburg. So you have to watch out for these little confusing areas like this, because you could be missing out, like I said, on actually a really nice place to live. Like this here, this is essentially Indianapolis, but it's also essentially Brownsburg. So you're gonna get the best of both worlds whenever it comes to living in an area like this. So if you have questions at all about Brownsburg, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, or any of those little edge areas surrounding Indianapolis, then make sure you reach out any ways you know how. And until the next one, we'll see you later.